Hello and welcome everybody to the Minnesota Girls National Network. We're going to do a quick anthem and we'll be right back with some awesome hockey. Well, the anthem's going to be Sweet Home Alabama today, so it's going to be a down south, no holds barred slug 'em fest between your Team Minnesota Black National Elite and the Aurora Spartans, which are kind of a national all-star team that has been devised to take out your Cowgirl Shootout champions, Queens of Vegas champions, NAIF champions, OC Freezeout champions. There is one new face in attendance for Minnesota, and that's Aricia Gracia. She's filling in as goaltender for Team Minnesota Black National Elite. She is a former Team Illinois goaltender, and that is where this team is based out of. As a cross-ice pass for Nolander gets played back to Bundy. Bundy plays wide to Stevens. Stevens plays it deep. So the Aurora Spartans will be on the right side of your screen. They are mainly from the Illinois area. As Kuistra gathers, gets the red and sends it deep. We've got new players, we've got new technology, but it's the same old game you love. It's the same old faces as we've got Brinley Bundy goes to fight for it. So Bundy and Christian backing, a line centered by Zoe Neuer. Zoe plays around to Stevens. Stevens can't quite break the blue, and it's back to Christian. Puck bounces off, bounces through. It's a 1-on-5. There's not a lot of contrast between these jerseys. So you're going to have to just kind of keep your eyes peeled. The numbers on Minnesota are a little bigger, a little brighter as Neuer carries up the near wall. Neuer from Team Minnesota Black National Elite carries on her forehand, tries a wraparound, but Kayla Eaton is there. So if the name Kayla sounds familiar, it's probably because she was the goaltender for the National Elite team when we were in Nashville back in April, just a couple months ago, as Christian intercepts. She fires it deep and goes to change. The Spartans pick up the puck. They try to play to Dowden. She's gone. Hardwick gets a chance, and she plays it deep. So it's been a little bit of a chess match in terms of possession. The advantage of playing the puck into the offensive zone is being able to fight for a puck and shoot versus fight for a puck. And the other team shoots as a major scoring chance, and it looks like a penalty has been drawn by Minnesota, as a defenseman must have had to take a liberty down there as they play physical. The call comes in from the referee, and they're calling a cross-check. So a puck glanced right across the goal line, and Minnesota was interfered with. When we see the black with neon green trim, we know it's a player from Chicago Mission. Purple helmets on our opponent's team is generally a sign of Windy City, which is also in a Illinois Schaumburg affiliate, I believe. As Bundy gathers at the line and chips deep. Minnesota would do well to hound for this puck. Evelyn Volkers plays one hot up the wall. Bundy can't contain. So Neuer's back on defense for this power play. The penalty is a 2-minute cross-check to Ella Rendina. Hey, Al will be right there. Right at the front entrance. At the front doors to the rink. So we just had to take a quick commercial break there. Fans are still filing into the Coliseum at Fogarty. This is the South Rink. We refer to it sometimes as the Wood Bowl. We're in Blaine, Minnesota. 85 degrees and sunny, as of course Preston wins the drawback. Zoe Neuer takes some space, curls to the wall, plays to Elena Nolander. Nolander quickly over to Hardwick. Hardwick plays down to Stevens. Stevens tries to center through 3 black players. It makes it all the way to Neuer. Spartans are chasing, but Eaton has the answer. So Eaton is eating up pucks as usual. She was stellar in 7 games through the Bridgestone, Bellevue, Antioch, Nolensville. She allowed 2 goals in 7 games. Just an outstanding, probably an all-time Rose Series tournament as a puck gets turned over by Hardwick. Gathered by number 18 from the Aurora, that's Stella Solomon. And Stevens pulls wide and plays deep. Insignias for the Robertson Cup surround this as a player comes in and does the math quickly to realize she's outnumbered. Some good stops and starts from the player here as she plays up the near wall. 30 seconds remain in the penalty. A short-handed Aurora Spartans as Hattie Aitken from Wisconsin tries to engineer a breakout, and it's through. Christian goes to gather, and it's a long stretch. Aricia plays to Christian. Christian goes forehand only. She wheels, and she tries a cross-ice pass, which is physically blocked, but second tries a charm to Nolander. Nolander pulls back, and it's a low shot that rebounds wide off of Eaton. Spartans are full strength as Nolander has the puck. She loses it, but it goes to Bundy, her teammate at Lakeville. A nice tip from Miss Maeve McDonough, the dairy princess of St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. So, Hattie Aitken, a shot on by Minnesota National Elite as Bundy's a little too hot for teacher, plays back into the zone. We've got some new technology here. We got a little gimbal, so it's supposed to be a little smoother control. It might take me a little bit of time to get used to this, but boy, the puck is moving quick and these players are talented. Aurora Spartans try a toe drag release, gets shin pads. Volkers and Newer. It looks like it's a 2-on-1, but Volkers gets a little antsy and jumps across the line at 10 minutes in. Scorekeepers have the shots at 7 shots for Minnesota girls Black National Elite, 0 shots for the Aurora Spartans, although this has been a back and forth game. Puck gathered by Molly Kirano as she tries to go cross ice. Players are tied up, and it's Piper Nyberg with a strong turn to the forehand. She finds Volkers in space. Wow, they just a slight miscue on that pass, so she would have had some alone time. Allie Zins is back. So let's talk about Allie Zins here, number 68 at center ice, as Nyberg steps in a second before Newer can escape. So Allie Zins suffered there's no minor injury, right? When you miss time, it's an injury. So Allie Zins missed a little time with a hand injury. It was a tricky thing. So excited to see Allie Zins back. Allie was a member of the Centennial team that played in the national championship. In the 12A state tournament championship this year as one of the few first-year players at Centennial. She was a member of the Las Vegas Championship Queens of Vegas team, and she was also in Nashville with a very strong performance. I believe she got her first goal in the championship game as Christian upends Kuistra. Kuistra looks a little dazed by that bodily contact. Dowden gathers. She pulls wide. Newer angles her out, and Zins picks it up. Zins coughs one up. Dowden tries. Aricia makes her first save in a Minnesota uniform. Welcome to the squad, brother. Puck played back. Spartans try and play in. Dowden kicks it deep. Preston's there with a stick. And Donahue comes to turn it the other way. She plays back to Christian. Christian's gonna slide a nice backhand to McDonough. McDonough plays to Donahue, but Preston chips it deeper. Allie Anderson, number 6 for Aurora, tries to play up, and it's Kuistra. Kuistra with a nice stop and start. So Kuistra's a player that the girls have gotten to know as she gets intercepted, but spins out of it, and she plays past Nyberg. Coaches want to see a stretch pass here. It's a hard, flat pass. Wow, an amazing touch pass from Nolander to Adriana Stevens. Stevens gets absolutely demolished, but she gets up. She's tough. Nyberg with a long shot. It's deflected, and it's saved by Eaton. Chicago Mission throws the puck, what could have been an icing, but Nyberg smartly gathers, gets the red, tries to play it deep. She gets swept off her feet. So referees clearly with some instructions to let the girls play until they don't. So Newer draws a penalty. It's the same referee, same location. Some would argue that that could be 6 minutes for all the infractions we've seen, but they're just going to take it as it comes. So Stella Solomon picks up her second call. So 7.5 minutes left. Shots are 8-1 Minnesota, and it's a second power play for Minnesota girls, Black National Elite. Christian intercepts a pass. She plays across. Oh, it's a beautiful Royal Road play. Boy, I can't tell if it was Stevens or no. I think Nolander was the one behind the finish there. It just didn't click as puck is played to Christian. Deflected high, and Eaton grabs a hold of that one and gives it to the big guy. So some excellent power play in just the 24 seconds we've seen Newer and Christian, Nolander, Addie Preston always digging in here at the dot. She is a extremely high percentage face-off winner as she kicks another one back to Christian. We go D to D. It's Newer. Newer takes a look. She fires a very hard snapshot, and Christian is there to pick it up and cross it again. Newer's at the goal line. She slides for Prosser, Palmer Prosser from Chaska Chanhassen area. Christian puts a shot on. It's deflected wide. Boy, we're getting a little antsy as we're about 50 seconds into this power play. Christian holds the wall, and Spartans blast it out. So any out is a breakout as Volkers is in a retrieval position, which can't imagine is too comfortable for her. Christian sends a little bit of a love note to her friend Dowden, who is slow to get up. Bella Dowden is a Pittsburgh Penguins player. What we're seeing is that there's a number of players on this Aurora Spartans team that are from Pittsburgh, Wisconsin, Chicago Mission, Windy City Storm. They've really concocted a lineup that they think can beat the National Elite Minnesota team, which has been extremely dominant as a long shot by Zinn's. Tip attempt by Newer just doesn't click. Girls are heads up hockey, feet moving, as Bundy's got someone right on her tail. It's Molly Bogdan. So Molly Bogdan retires her effort. The coaches for the Aurora Spartans, I believe, are the Kuistra family, or I'm sorry, Jackie Kuistra, the head coach. Head coach for the Minnesota girls is Vince Stevens. As Maeve McDonough shows off some nice wide pulls, goes left, right, left. Tries to finish with an uppercut, doesn't connect. Hardwick plays one in deep, but it's higher than it's deep. And that's going to be a souvenir for one of the thousands of fans we have here in attendance. They're going to line up outside the blue. Kayla Eaton visits her corner. Gracias for the first big save. She is feeling a little bit more at ease after getting that first save under her belt as the puck is played to Newer. Newer's in space. She tries to play through, and Kayla with a sweep check. So Minnesota firmly in command so far. No fruitful attempts here as Newer comes across the goal line. Backhand chip off the chest of Aurora Spartans goaltender Kayla. Hardwick is coming in with a hard pinch. Bounced up. Setting up for a 2-on-1 on Nyberg. Nyberg quickly diffuses that. She's boarded, but the puck play goes on, and Zoe Newer gets a pass from Adriana Stevens. So we've seen at least 3 or 4 big collisions. Christian comes in, tries to forehand one. She sits it to Volkers. Volkers with a short side, low backhand attempt, kicked wide by Eaton. Stevens is there to counterattack. Nyberg comes in. She's on her backhand. She plays low to Volkers. It's too much. Stevens plays it back again to Volkers. Volkers centering attempt. It's Preston. Preston gets denied by Eaton. We got a heck of a game going here, folks, as Aurora Spartans play in. Some stick play, a little sword fight between Preston and Hattie Aitken from Wisconsin, a little border battle as the Spartans look to do some work, but it's Nyberg. Nyberg is a speedy defenseman who shows some puck slipping skills as things get stacked a little bit at the blue line. It's a 3-on-1 the other way, but Christian is there to pick up a loose puck. Aurora Spartans, it's Hattie Aitken. We're gonna go with Hattie Aitken. I have to find her mom and figure out what the maiden name was there maybe, but Allie Zins picks up. She tries to play off the wall. She gets stopped, but it's Bundy. Bundy looks for a way out. Safety valve is Zins. Loose puck gets picked up by McDonough. A wide pull, chip to the middle. And it's kicked into the Minnesota zone. Nice wide pass. Shepherded by Donahue. Aurora Spartans starting to outnumber Minnesota players and make their decision making quicker and potentially more dangerous as the play has started to come into the Minnesota zone a little bit more. Big hands come up. Looks like Donahue takes a shot there. She's got to go find her twig. She comes back in kicking for the puck. It's June. It's soccer season. But if they let you use a stick, I would for sure use that. Christian's stop and start. Tries to find a way through. Forwards are kind of circling around as Nolander drops into a defensive role at the blue line where she's forced to counterattack. The Molly Bogdan, smaller forward, left-handed player, tries to intercept. Molly Craiwanio holds the blue as Christian tries to play to Newer. Throw us a like if you are enjoying this smooth rolling camera angle, all courtesy to Al Bundy, the chief financier and chief technology officer. Spartans gather a puck at center. Another shot on goal for the Spartans. Zoe Newer gets a puck. She's got room. She's got speed. She takes it to the net. It's a backhand chip under the bar. So Zoe Newer, here's the celly. Oh yeah. And she buzzes the tower. It's a 1-0 lead for Minnesota. So there's only 3 things certain in life, right? Wrinkles, death, and taxes. The 4th thing that's certain in life is Zoe Newer continues to defy gravity with her 5G turn to find the front of the net. And if you've been watching since the OC freeze-out, you know that Zoe Newer can score some big goals. So big players make big plays in big games. We're 1:23 left in the first. Draw's going to be to Aricia's right in the Minnesota zone. And boy, this place lit up like a birthday cake. Hey, y'all. Preston lines up, loses a rare face-off to Peyton Hansen, number 5, so we're going to keep an eye on that matchup. This puck is almost chipped out by Prosser. She left it a little shy of the line. Hardwick plays up the near wall, where it's Volkers. Puck is gathered by Peyton Hansen, a forward from the Windy City. She gets angled out, but now we've got a call here, so we've seen about 8 to 10 big collisions, but this will be the first power play for the Aurora Spartans. They're down 1-0. There is just shy of 1 minute left in the period. We're sitting at 58.8 seconds in the first as we've got Bundy and Christian out with Donahue and Newer. Ali Akla for the Spartans with Hallie Aitken from Wisconsin. Long shot, gets gloved aside by Christian. Chicago's got some time here. Allie Atkin from Wisconsin rips a shot again. Christian with another block. Donahue tries to play out. It's regained by the Aurora Spartans. Christian holds the line. She's got 3 saves here in the first period. Puck is played in, and it's going to be Newer and Eden with a face-off there. Probably smartly played. Kayla gives her a little side-to-side head shake like, no. She knows that Zoe's dangerous. A defensive switch brings in Nyberg and Hardwick. Newer's going to take this draw with Donahue on the backside, and it's a win. So big win for Minnesota, and they play it deep where Donahue pokes behind the net. So they effectively kill some time, but they should get back as the Aurora Spartans try a stretch pass. I don't believe they get any contact on that. Refs confirm. And Aricia will say, why don't you take that about 190 feet the other way? 15 and a half seconds left. Stay frosty, ladies. Nobody gets behind you here. So Hardwick and Nyberg stay. Newer stays. McDonough replaces Donahue. So number 8 plays in against Molly Ogden. Molly Ogden with a face-off win back. She's a little water bug. I think Zoe might have found her match here. This young number 16 from the Aurora Spartans looks to be something special here. She's been a part of a lot of this, but puck is wisely dumped deep, and we're about halfway through the Preston penalty. We're about a third of the way through the game. Shots are 11-1, but I assure you it's much closer than that. Here at Fogarty Arena in Blaine. Blaine is one of the northern suburbs of Minnesota. There are 3 total teams from Minnesota playing at the 2012 level. Got your Minnesota Girls Black National Elite team. There is a Team Minnesota Purple team. And there's also the Machine Orange 2012 team. So a combined roughly 40-some players from Minnesota as we are greeted by celebrity mom, Jess Eaton. She's moving end to end, as many goalie parents do, to be close to their player, to support them, to cheer for them, and let them know everything they did wrong on the way home. Like I said earlier, 85 degrees and sunny here on a Thursday evening in Blaine, Minnesota. Fogarty Ice Arena should be a very familiar rink to many of the Minnesota athletes, as this is the home for a lot of their summer training. There's 2 arenas here. Like I said before, this is the South Rink. There's also a North Rink. There's a curling center. If you're not familiar with curling, C-U-R-L-I-N-G. It's an Olympic sport. It's also an ice sport. They have a separate surface here. And it's also home to Moe's, as we see a little customary high five between Kayla Eaton as she gives us a wave, and Aricia Gracia, number 30 for Team Minnesota. I'll have to check the records, but I believe that's a first number 30 that we've had, as we've got our friend Chris. Hi, Chris.
What's happening?
Chris is the father of Kayla Eaton, rock star goalie. She's kind of a mercenary. I believe there was an agreement made she would play with the Aurora Spartans for this game, or for this tournament. And Aricia agreed to play with Minnesota as a nice touch pass is made. Short-handed attempt for McDonough. Snapshot deflected over the net. We're just right back into it. Christian with a hard pinch. Kuistra suffered the wrath of Christian earlier, but I don't even know if she heard footsteps there with skates. Christian should probably be attacking this rim puck, but we're shorthanded, so a smart decision is made as McDonough is there to keep him below the goal line. Christian takes away the handoff. A centering attempt intercepted by Newer. Puck goes back to Christian. Christian builds some speed. She shoots down into the Aurora zone, leaving him on the short side with nowhere to go. So we're under 10 seconds left in the Preston penalty. I don't know what the call was, whether it was a boarding or a body checking, as Minnesota commits intentional offsides, but when the professionals go offsides, it's a big oops, but youth hockey coaches love whistles. We can, as they get a line change here, right, get some fresh feed. Nyberg is back on the far side, red line, number 72. Ellie Hardwick, number 11 for Team Minnesota at the red line. Stevens ties up, but Nolander gains the puck as she gets angled out. She can't keep her feet. She keeps the puck in her feet. Stevens is close with a back check. And Nyberg puts a little bit of a body on Elena Kulikovsky, sorry. We're just kind of getting to know some of these players from the Aurora Spartans. This is probably the most in-demand game of the opening slate, as these are two of the strongest teams in the tournament playing in the first round. So in the same pool as Preston slides one across. It looked to be a nice crossing pass as Allie Atkinson intercepts what could have been gold for Nolander. And Kayla Eaton smartly says, I'll take the face-off. Well, she's not going to take the face-off, but she would prefer a face-off to ongoing action behind her net. Preston digs in. Puck gets played back eventually, and it's Bundy with the lead to the net. Long high shot, glove attempt is no go. Played back to Zinn. Zinn's at the blue line with a long shot, skate save. A sizable player is this Hattie Aiken. Oh, long shot gets tipped on net by their own player. Just an outstanding save. So don't call Wells Fargo yet, but that was an absolute gem. Some screaming from the benches as they're looking to stretch up to Elena Kulikovsky. Kulikovsky on her backhand can't quite keep the handle as Bundy disarms her. Her centering attempt to Stevens gets played up and back. Skates by Nolander. So although it's been clunky, these kids can pick these pucks up out of their skates. They use stops and starts, strong changes of direction. They keep this thing looking pretty seamless. Although a puck gets misplayed off the heel, a player falls, it's still back and forth. So that's a testament to how good 12-year-old girls hockey has gotten, and what you're seeing right now is probably the best 12-year-old girls hockey game in the planet right now. Oh, a puck is tried to play back Stevens. She gets it to Volker in space. Volker starts to fall. A stick gets played off of her, and it's going to be a delayed call against the Aurora Spartans. Kayla shows some frustration as, wow, Aricia is a Olympic speed skater as she made it all the way to the bench. If you've been watching the program, this is the third time you've seen Stella Solomon in the box. That's her third penalty. So, We Dem Boys plays in the speaker as these girls take over your tablets. Puck is played back just out of the reach of Christian. So, full 2-minute penalties. 2-minute penalties here as Christian stops behind her net. She evades a pretty good mollied out and forecheck. Long stretch pass to Prosser. Prosser's all alone. She tries to slide across. It ends up on the back door for Volkers, but Volkers can't quite get the handle as Preston holds the zone. So the team which is at a disadvantage, which would be the Aurora Spartans for another minute 20. Short side to Prosser. Prosser with a backhand chip and a forehand try. Great attempt. So the Aurora Spartans with the gray jerseys, they've got a mix of black helmets, yellow helmets, purple pants. They are at a disadvantage right now. They are allowed to ice the puck, meaning they can shoot the puck all the way down to the other end without fear of an icing call as Preston tries to get in. So the Aurora Spartans are doing a nice job on the face-offs. Play comes back where Nyberg gets it. She does a little shoulder check. She's gaining information. She whistles one all the way down. That's going to be a nice. So might have had a little more time there than she thought. Again, it's 1-0 Minnesota. The Zoe Neuer goal with about a minute left in the first period as she goes tight in on her forehand, pulls to the backhand and puts it right under the bar of the net you're seeing now. We'll talk a little bit more about the goaltending situation of this game and probably how important this game will be in terms of seeding. We'll talk about the other teams in the tournament a little bit as Preston Preston stick handling right at the mouth of the net and plays it back. They're trying to look for quality chances here. This is not slap puck. This is not a fling fest, as Newer proves that with her possession as she sends to Donahue. Donahue sends a fluttering puck right on where McDonough is in the midst of a few Spartans. Once again, coming to you live from Fogarty Arena, Blaine, Minnesota, as Preston centers McDonough on the left, Donahue on the right. Newer and Nyberg are back at D as the long shot by Nyberg hits the Spartan logo dead center. So a lot of these shots are meant to find tips, rebounds, expand the net. Maybe just a puck that's got better eyes than the goalie can find its way in to tickle the twine. Face-off to Kayla Eaton's left. It's a face-off win for the Windy City player. And a retrieval by Newer, but she's got Kuistra in hot pursuit. Looked like it could have been a little bit of a trip, but there's play on. As Nyberg and Preston try to get the puck from Kuistra, and it's Nyberg. Nyberg sets up for a long pass to McDonough. McDonough catches on the near wall with a spin. She plays in. Puck to Dowden. She can't handle. Zins tries to slip one. So Allie Zins is not only back on the ice playing hockey, she's playing forward and defense today. So the Swiss Army knife of the Black National League team, as McDonough puts a cheeky little slider in on Eaton to no avail. Christian takes a body on a player who probably will get the puck later, as Bundy shows them flash here. We are body checking, we are sword fighting. This looks more like college hockey, and we love it. Or as the kids would say, we're here for it. Fire up. Once again, the Minnesota girls keep the zone with Bundy with a flash of speed, a cut back. Cutesy pass to the line as she pulls right around. She finds herself in the box, tries to make some hay. Zins tries to center to Stevens, where Dowden steps in the way. She gets counteracted by Christian. So number 2, Sydney Christian from Orono, is a very aggressive, physical player as Stevens gains in the slot. She's starts to fumble, but the puck is played to the corner. Zoe Newer with the white stripe on her black helmet. Try to run a little bit of an overlap play, but Hardwick is the safety valve. Stevens gains on her forehand. You can hear these players calling for the puck as Christian does a deep dive. She hits the brakes and does a pivot. Sydney takes a body check. She stays with it. Stevens is there. Puck is played over to Nolander. Nolander plays back to Stevens. Now it's Christian. Christian on her backhand. She goes forehand, tries to play back around. It's Hattie Aiken, number 17, large and in charge. She polices these corners, y'all. And the puck is gained by the Aurora Spartans and played all the way back down for an icing. So halfway through the second period, start me up and never stop, as the Black National Elite team has 18 shots. Only 2 shots for the Aurora Spartans, although I would argue the game has been much closer. Preston wins over to Prosser. Prosser plays back. There's not a lot of time. Long play off the wall, held by Hardwick from Warroad. Evelyn Volkers from Elk River does her work. Elkvalen, long shot from Hardwick, gloved by Kayla Eaton. So if there's one thing we know, Kayla Eaton is as sure-handed as they come. This is a young lady who is focused on the craft. She flew in from Maryland yesterday. I believe she took a tour of one of the prep schools in Minnesota to potentially further her education and her athletic experience. This young lady named Ailey Akela blows a tire, and a short side high shot from Piper Nyberg glances off the cage of the goalie as Volkers is again made to retreat. She gets bodied off the puck by Aklika. These names are tripping me up. Sorry, folks. It's Akaya. Okay, number 8 is Akaya. Akaya and Volkers again tangle up. The refs are having to keep an eye on a lot here. Maybe 3 refs would be better. Maybe they'd be getting in the way. I don't know. Hard to say. Nyberg grabs a loose puck in her feet, chips it over to Prosser. Prosser tries to find Volkers. What they find is that Shea O'Leary's got some moves. So that's the first that we've seen from Shea, number 3 in gray. Prosser tries to center. It's on Preston's backhand. A nice piece of stick handling until she gets to the blue as Kuistra gathers. Emma Kuistra plays right up. It's going to be Bogdan chasing Zins. Zins turns. She gets intercepted by Bella Dowden. The centering attempt from Dowden comes to Preston. She plays up the far wall to Emmy Donahue. Donahue smartly dumps in and relentlessly attacks Bogdan. Maeve McDonough on the wall fights off a attack from Ella Rendina. Zins with a long shot, just wide with traffic, flash screens in front. Bundy tries to cut it back, runs into a dead end. And the puck is chipped to Neuer where it's gathered by Donahue. Donahue comes to her backhand. Puck at neutral gets picked up by Pittsburgh Penn's elite member, Bella Dowden. And Zoe Neuer comes up with the loose change. She pulls backhand, forehand, gets taken down. Oh, and a backhand chip from Donahue, swallowed up by Eaton, is going to bring the 4th penalty to this Spartans team. So they have been in penalty trouble all day. As we have a new recipient. The first 3 penalties were all the same player. But we've got a new member of the sin bin. See if I can get a number off her as we're going to have an offensive zone draw here by Preston. Parents are cheering the penalty. That's awesome. Got to make the score sheet any way you can or else you don't get it right home. So Dowden gets kicked back out on the ice for Aurora Spartans as Preston tries to win the draw. It's a loose puck. It's gathered by Neuer. Neuer, like in a busy shopping mall, the way she angles around and tries to find the shortest checkout aisle. And it's gloved by the cashier, Kayla Eden. Preston on her forehand. They tie up. Puck is played back by Preston. Here's Christian with a long shot deflected by Preston. So they got to be these dirty, greasy, grimy, nasty grease pan goals today because you're not going to beat Kayla clean. We've only seen it happen a few times. Long pass from Preston to Christian. Great defensive play once again by Hattie Aiken. So this number 17 is logging a ton of minutes. She's the best player out of Wisconsin since Maeve McDonough, who's cemented her status as St. Croix Falls' own. So when she decides what her number is going to be, they'll retire it. Christian tries to fire. It's Preston and Aiken tying up. Stevens outdoes Dowden to Christian. Oh, far side to Nolander. So what you're seeing is a recipe for success here as these girls are, and shelf the puck. Let's go. And a big collision. So a Royal Road attempt from Christian to Nolander is fruitless, but a second attempt as a loose puck gets gathered by Adriana Stevens, and Stevens puts it directly under the red 2-inch cylinder bar, which hangs 4 feet above the ice surface. So 2 goals for Minnesota, 4:21 remain in the second. Aurora, you're starting to see the body language, like they are who we thought they were, but they didn't let us off the hook. In fact, they're hooking us a lot. But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, so we'll just see if this team can keep it together. The shots are now 21-2 So what we thought would be the two strongest teams in this tournament, and they may be, you feel like, just like the planes they took to get here, the Spartans have come down to earth. Long, short side shot. Allie Zins puts some pressure on. She tries to puck slip. It's a no-go. Hardwick holds. Hardwick doesn't hold. Prosser needs to touch up as she does that. And we see what we're going to have some kind of modified forecheck. We're going to just float a couple in flat. Nyberg pushes back. It's Bella Dowden with some silky stick handling. She shifts her weight out. And Nyberg is there to counteract her, and Hardwick picks off the centering attempt. We got 4 coming up the ice. Stretched past to Prosser. Now it's over to Volkers. Volkers is a product out of Elk River. Does a little hip flip. I dip, you dip, we dip to Hardwick. Back to Volkers. Volkers has a knack for goal scoring, so a lot of times players will slip it over to her and ready for her to make the deposit. 3 minutes left in the second period as Hardwick tries a shot, and Donahue picks up the loose change. Her centering attempt, it's steered aside by Molly Craiwanio. As Donahue comes in to shut down a breakout attempt. We got Bundy and Christian holding hands at the blue line. Oh, they did a little position swap. Keep their forehand-to-forehand connection strong as Donahue picks up a puck in the slot. Just outside the dot lane is Neuer. Christian's floating in. Centering attempt to Christian. It's a shot just wide on a fluttering puck. Delayed call here by Aurora Spartans. They give him the benefit of the doubt as Peyton Hansen touches outside the blue. It's going to be a face-off in the offensive zone for Minnesota girls Black National Elite. This young lady, so naughty. It's her 4th penalty for Stella Solomon. She has more minutes in the box than on the ice so far, but get it how you live. So Minnesota girls prove to be more than they bargained for as Neuer pushes to her forehand. Nice cut back. She walks in, gets hooked to death. The referee was going to allow it, and he thought, this is getting a little out of hand. So what they need to do is just protect these players, protect the integrity of the game, the body language from Aurora players as they stack up. This is, we've seen worse, but Coach Jackie for the Aurora Spartans is flummoxed. She's called a little conference with her team. This could be a 5-on-3. There could be some damage here. Preston digs in at the dot. Stevens in a shooting position. She can't get it, but Neuer's there to put a cork in the top of that bottle. We're gonna play on deep in the offensive zone where the puck is played up the far wall to Stevens. Stevens plays over to Nolander. We've got a lot of people in the same spot. Zoe Neuer's got shake and bake all day as a puck glances right over the top of our official. And Brindley Bundy comes back with some speed. She could probably just skate this all the way down the ice. There's no reason to force a low percentage play, but setting it up as Neuer gains. She tries her move to backhand chip, but Eaton is there. She's got her paddle out on a long leash as Bundy goes to gather. Girls should do well to touch up. There aren't a lot of plays that happen where you stay in the zone. Pass off of the heel of Addie's backhand, but she smartly plays it deep. Neuer plays the puck over to the near side. She looks for Christian. Christian has a chance. She sidesteps a defender, rips a shot that catches Preston. So Preston and Christian have more saves right now than Aricia, which I'm sure she's not sweating it. Nolander with a nice piece of skating. Plays back to Christian, who dodges a few players. Oh, beautiful play. It goes Christian to Neuer to Stevens on the back door with a little catch and release like a Minnesota walleye. So don't forget to stop and get your fishing permits if you're here from Illinois. You do need a permit to catch fish, even if you plan to let them go, like the quick release on that shot. A lot of the players from the next game are lined up as the Aurora Spartans have a short conference. They're building Kayla back up. I don't think there was really anything that Kayla could have done on that play. That was really something. So exciting to see Minnesota not jamming the puck, not forcing the play. They freed one player from the 5-on-3 as Christian picks up, it crosses the red and the blue. There's still one in the box for another 30 seconds. Bella Dowden gains. She's chased by Christian. She slips Nyberg, and Aricia makes a save as Dowden loses an edge and catches herself safely before reaching the end wall. So we got Prosser out there with Volkers, Zins, Nyberg, and Christian still out there. Coach Steven Nolander is voicing his desire for the girls to adjust their formation, and it works out as the puck is played all the way down and almost held in the O-zone. We got to keep this thing back. So Minnesota plays to possess as Nyberg plays a beautiful pass across the ice. Palmer Prosser just off the heels of Elkvalen. Dowden's just super frustrated, chips the puck away. So second period now is it's a wrap. Shots 23 for Minnesota Girls Black National Elite. 3 shots on goal for the Aurora Spartans. So there's 4 coaches on the bench for the Aurora Spartans. I believe the head coach is Jackie Kuistra, mother of daughter Emma, a hard-working forward. And on the Minnesota girls bench, we've got Steven Nolander from Lakeville area. We've got Vince Stevens, he's the head coach. He resides in Forest Lake. And we also have Jay Hardwick, who is also the boys head varsity coach at War Road, Hockey Town. Come on. And of course, Mike Neuer, father of Zoe Neuer. Zoe sometimes is Zorro with that stick. But let's talk about the goalies here. So we've got Kayla Eaton playing for the Aurora Spartans, and she's hanging in there dealing with she's got 20 saves on 23 shots. And for the Minnesota girls, we have Aricia Gracia. She is a former Team Illinois goalie, which is most of the team that we're playing today. So although they've enlisted some help from Wisconsin, as we've seen Hattie Aitken, number 17, engineer some breakouts, use her physical play to withstand our suffocating attack. They also brought in some players from the Penn's Elite and the players from the Chicago, Schaumburg area, mostly Windy City and Chicago Mission. So they really concocted a roster that they think can beat Minnesota. But Minnesota is proving that they're a lot tougher to beat than, they're easier to beat on paper than they are on ice. We'll just say that. So, Maeve McDonough with a little moonwalk for your viewing pleasure as Zinn spins. Hardwick holds strong. Donahue on the far wall as Zoe does a little outside edge, inside edge. These girls love to skate. Dowden's on the center. Left wing for the Spartans is Peyton Hansen. Defense for the Spartans is Molly Cry-Wano as Emmy Donahue plays one to Neuer, who chips in deep. So they're, a puck right up the middle gets intercepted by Donahue to McDonough to Donahue, and now it's Hardwick. Hardwick with a long, low shot, just trying to sneak it through the shin pads. She holds on to it for a little bit and tries to play over to Neuer at the goal line. So most players are trying to get open in front. Oh my gosh. Loose puck picked up by Emmy Donahue. Amelia shoots a puck. Maeve McDonough does a spinning tip. And the first shot of the third period, straight cash, homie. Number 16, Maeve McDonough, assisted by Emmy Donahue. 14:28 in the third period. Minnesota girls are rolling. Christian spins, whiffs, hands a puck over, but it's a glove save. Come on, who taped that stick? Puck comes off the heel for Christian. She's using a stick that we actually bought in Florida as her luggage and sticks were lost in transit at the Top Prospects Festival, in which these girls from the Penguins and Chicago were also a part of. So we're starting to see some relationships form between these nationwide players as they're all at the top level of their game, the top level of their area. As Christian tries to power through, and Emma Kuistra disarms her and plays back to the line. Long shot handled by Gracia. Nyberg plays it wide, and another long shot. So Spartans pick up 3 shots here in the third, but Preston's got a head of steam, but she gets stopped at the blue, but continues on. So Minnesota says, let's fight back here, as Preston gains some speed and tries to push through. Line change brings Prosser left, Volker's right, Newer center, Hardwick and Brindley Bundy. The new, congratulations Brindley on your brown belt, I believe, as Newer tucks, she scores. So Newer is counteracted by the Spartans defense, but even though they knock her off her feet, she's able to keep one knee on the ground. And if you're wearing a hat, I think you're not paying attention. Throw it at your television. So the newer solo effort there. I don't know if we had an assist there. Hard to hear the announcing here, but that was an amazing play to just stretch out and be patient, and she just rings that puck in. I think the referees were even a little surprised with that goal. So it's 5-0 here, as the Minnesota girls just taking an absolute stand to anyone saying that they can be beaten. Centering attempt from Illinois comes to Prosser. She tries to get to Volkers, but Minnesota's taking a little bit of a celebratory pause as the feet have kind of not moving as fast as they were. Preston tries to play up to Volkers. I think she was end of shift as Preston regains. She's playing with a lot of fire right now. Fun to watch. She chips up to McDonough, the fourth goal scorer. Maeve McDonough plays behind the net where Donahue counteracts. Zins comes in with a hard pinch. Very soft call as the puck was already stopped. So number 68, Allie Zins, is going to go to the box for a minute, giving the Chicago fans something to cheer for. About 11 and a half minutes here in the third period. We're now in running time officially, so barring any unforeseen power play goal, Machine Orange girls better get their stuff on. Puck gets played back off the faceoff win. Long shot from Hattie Aiken. Christian gains. She plays to McDonough. McDonough tries once more to Preston. It's not enough. Christian picks it up. Too many bodies in the way as the puck gets played back. And it's Hattie Aiken. We're going to see Hattie Aiken for years to come as she's trying to do everything herself. Very talented, very strong player, although she's subject to deception as Christian shakes her, if only for a moment. It's Kuistra. Kuistra tries to get over the elbow. Christian reintroduces herself. Nyberg tries to glass out. Hattie Aiken. Kick save, long shot. The stick is taken away from Dowden by Christian. Dowden is Howden. Pass to Bella Dowden. She can't get the handle. And Maeve McDonough says, I'm pretty good with this thing here. It's the irony of sports. You'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on hockey and you end up just chasing around a 50-cent piece of rubber. So kind of the fun part of the whole thing is the irony. But it's about as high as the level as 12-year-old girls hockey gets, and there aren't a lot of boys teams that could take it to this black girl. So See what happens next. Face-off win by Illinois. Captured by Aurora. Under 10 minutes in the third. Face Newer's tied up by Bella Dowden. Puck is played deep by Kulikovsky. Hardwick tries to go up the near wall where Bundy catches a hook. Catches a little bit of more stick work. Kulikovsky's a tough customer. But the puck is eventually dumped deep to Kayla Eaton, who stops it near the mouth of the goal. Newer on the forecheck as they go D to D. She shuts that down. Zins has been added back to the group as Zoe Newer works to find a way to spread this thing out. She takes some damage from gloves and sticks. Fires a short side knee-high shot, gloved by Eaton. We're under 9 minutes in the third period. We're gonna try and zoom in a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna see if I can do this for you guys to get you a little bit closer to the action. If it's an epic fail, well, it's a 5-0 game, so don't sweat it. Some patterns shift there as players try to fall into lanes and layers. Preston goes down into the corner, finds the puck. She slips a player, but the second player is there to get it. Nyberg tries to hold her wall. Christian drops back to put it, as Nyberg spins to the middle and puts a nice low shot on. Looked like it could be potentially a 5-hole goal, but Kayla Eaton has that shut down. Puck played to the near side where Nolander comes into forecheck, but the puck gets coughed up to Preston. Stevens counteracts the puck and slaps backhand on net. Shots are now 28-6 as Christian tries to counteract Ailey Akaya. Preston with a nice shot block, and Christian's got some speed. Christian brings her custom tape job all the way up the ice. She tries to slip the last defender to no avail. It's a turnover. They're coming back the other way where Volkers is there. Volkers picks up Ailey Akaya, and Zoe Newer tries to play a high puck in. Puck is gained by Yazi Choi, number 10, defenseman for the Aurora Spartans. She plays it down for Hardwick. Hardwick and Dowden tie up on the far wall. Puck is played to Palmer Prosser. Her centering attempt is off the heels of Volkers. I'm going to do better for you here. Volkers plays deep. There we go. And Newer tries to cross one to Prosser. Newer with a nice wide pull, centers to Volkers. Volkers with a miraculous effort to even get that shot off. She elevates the shot, but it's inches wide of the right side post. Puck is played. The Robertson Cup graphics make it difficult to discern what's happening on that end wall. I realize that now after getting a little closer. I'm going to zoom out through center, but Kuistra cuts left to right. Places a shot, and Allie Zins comes up the far wall on her backhand. Centering attempt is not made due to Zoe, and Zins tries to play over to Prosser. Long shot, and Hardwick tries to play up. She scrapes the ball one more time, and Prosser gets counteracted. Puck is played. They're going to keep that one in. Play on. Hardwick wheels. She escapes the Dowden play. Dowden finally chops her down. They got it called. So we're seeing a lot of frustration here from the Aurora Spartans. I think this game has gone very, very differently than they thought it would. I imagine the next contest between these teams could end up being a championship game. I'm going to zoom back out. It's a little clunky. I think if these two teams meet, it'll be a very different game than a running time effort. But just the body language from the Aurora Spartans lets you know that if you score early on them, you may get a here we go again type of reaction. They seem very frustrated. Preston wins the draw. Back to Nolander, to Newer, to Bundy. Nolander looks for a pass. It's a shot, and it trickles through the goalie, but not past the line as Zoe puts up on her backhand. She cuts. Zero gravity Newer tries to power through the defensive combo of Krywanio and some of these jerseys are tucked, hard to get their numbers. I believe the second defenseman is Peyton Hansen from the Windy City Storm. Nolander plays up, plays back. Minnesota stays over the top with Newer and Preston. Short little putt-putt pass to Preston. She can't find the shot, but the puck is loose in front and it slides over to Nolander. They have created the triangle of death with the short side shot from Stevens. They are in very tight, and they're making little putt-putt passes, creating little micro one-timers, which is pretty high level for these groups. This puck gets played in with 3.5 minutes left. Newers catches. There's some sword fighting going on as she hits the B button to escape. Evelyn Volkers with a head of steam. Stevens and Nolander wait. Volkers places a 60% snapshot on Eaton. We get a whistle and we get some fresh feet. So Palmer Prosser joins Volkers. Allie Zins comes out to take the draw. The left side on the Robertson Cup is Piper Nyberg, and right side defenseman for the Minnesota girls is Sydney Christian. She realizes her lane is open and she surfs across to steal. That was looked like Ronnie Lott with that interception. There's surfing and there's just straight up stealing somebody else's wave, as Corky Carroll once said. Christian holds, plays it back down to Volkers. Volkers comes in on the charge. She hits the brakes. She does well to use her body to protect. And Christian holds the line only momentarily. So Nyberg and Christian are going to have to absorb this attack. Not setting up well, but it ends well as Allie Anderson from Windy City and the Aurora Spartans tries to gain, but Volkers catches a shot. It's an absolute body check from Ailey Akaya, but none of these are mean-spirited hits. There's no, some arm extension, but to be honest, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, as we heard earlier from Miss Clarkson. Puck is played back to Bundy. Bundy's got a little bit of steam, not a lot of room. She stays with it. She stays moving. She does a little flip spin. Preston whiffs on a pass off the heel, but regains, as she often does. Addie Preston out of Wyzetta has quite a reach with her stick. She plays with she's a tall player with a long stick, and when she loses a puck, she can generally pick it up fairly easily from some of these players with shorter legs, shorter sticks. Bundy holds the line, if only momentarily, as it sails the other way. A little 2-on-2 with back pressure. Gets fired in by Allie Akaya. Sorry, my producer used the smallest font he could on these names. No, I should have my glasses on. We're under a minute left in the contest. It's the first round of the NAIFS, which is the Female National American Elite Service Show. It's one of the top pageants in Minnesota this weekend. It's 30 seconds left. Christian picks up a puck on her forehand. She's willing to hold. She fast forwards this email to McDonough. McDonough accidentally hits the reply all. Oops. And the Aurora Spartans, with 12 seconds left, gain a breakaway. It's Emma Kuistra. She gets a nice backhand shot off, but Nyberg does keep that situation from escalating. And that's all, folks. That's the way the cookie crumbles. So, final score here. We'll keep a shot on the handshake line just because definitely some friends here. Some success, some excitement, some relief, some disappointment, some concern. So lots of emotions come to the surface after these games conclude. Lots of games to go. It's fun to watch these players conclude their contest, and some hugs, some handshakes. Good game, good game, good game. Fun. Something tells me this won't be the last that we've seen from these young ladies this weekend. So Aricia is hugged and congratulated by a lot of her players, as Kayla is hugged and congratulated. Maybe we'll get you next time. They're always chirping each other. In hockey, they call it chirping when you talk a little trash, and that's just part of the game. So thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the game. It was a 5-0 win for the Minnesota Girls Black National Elite. Shots are about 30-8. So tune in next time as the Minnesota girls will face a couple new opponents. But first, it's going to be a grudge match with the Minnesota Machine Orange team. And then they're going to have to take on all of North America, which they kind of just did. But anyways, signing off. We'll be back next game with some stats. We'll have some commentary, of course.
Nice game, Minnesota.
Thank you to Chris, congratulating our broadcasting crew here with a nice game. But also, we'll have some results of the other games in case you guys are keeping track. There's 2 pools, 4 teams each. It's going to come down to a 4-team semifinal playoff. And until next time, good night.